Now, after an endless amount of comments of you guys suggesting me to try the OnePlus 12, I finally decided to try it, and I can't thank you guys enough. Now, after a week of using the OnePlus 12 day in and day out, I think the term underrated is an understatement. This phone has shocked me in so many ways for how good it was, not only for its price, but also when you compare it to heavy hitters like the iPhone 15 Pro Max and Pixel 8 Pro. Peep this. It has a 1440p display, an extremely powerful Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip, supports up to 24 gigs of RAM, and it also supports up to 100 watt fast charging. And these are as good, if not better specs that you will find on a $1,300 phone like the Galaxy S24 Ultra, which is the best phone of the year so far. And believe it or not, this phone is currently at $700 at the time of me making this video. And that's pretty unreal. And you may be thinking, if it has all this great stuff at a cheaper price, why is this phone so underrated? And to be honest, I can partially answer that question. See, in the United States, we pretty much have a monopoly split between three companies, Apple being the majority, Samsung being a far second, and the rest of the pie goes to Google. And the harsh reality is that in order to succeed in a country like America, the power of your brand is more important than the quality of the product. See, that's why Google has been able to increase the popularity of the Pixel in the US and basically get in with the big dogs. There's endless marketing, they're applying big star celebrities to the Pixel brand, and they're making the Pixel brand more marketable since they know that a good product isn't all you need. I feel like the OnePlus 12 doesn't get the recognition that it deserves, and all they need is great marketing to gain a fan base in America, because I believe that in terms of pricing, quality, durability, and longevity, this phone has it all, and I wish more people knew about it. And a lot of you guys may be sitting there wondering, why the f is he talking about companies right now? Well, it's because I want companies like this to succeed, not only because it adds to even more competition, but it'll also invite more cool smartphone companies to come to the US, which in turn means that I can recommend more amazing phones like the OnePlus 12. Now, I want to start this video off by giving you guys many examples as to why the OnePlus 12 is better than its competition, especially when it comes to specs. Now, starting with display, the OnePlus 12 is exactly at 1440p, just like the Galaxy S24 Ultra, which is slightly better than the iPhone 15 Pro Max that has 1290 resolution, and the Pixel 8 Pro that is at 1344. Personally, you won't be able to tell the difference when it comes to sharpness, but I did love the detail, and I think that the brightness mixed in with the vibrancy gave me one of the best viewing experiences in the smartphone market. And despite its price, there is nothing lacking when it comes to this phone. The fingerprint sensor is extremely fast and accurate, along with facial recognition, which also works really well in hard to see environments. The always on display has a good dim, while also being nicely customizable. The 120Hz refresh rate feels extremely smooth, and it was just an overall really solid phone. It also has a 6.8-inch display, which is not only extremely big, but it's the only other slab phone that is exactly the same size as the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Brightness was also where the display got to shine, no pun intended. It maxes out at a whopping 4500 nits, 1600 nits manual, and it's not only better than the Pixel 8 Pro and the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but it's also better than the top dog, the Galaxy S24 Ultra. And the display definitely shined. Whenever I'm outside, I have no trouble seeing anything, and I love how OnePlus was able to mix in brightness while still maintaining that richness and color. The only downside is that it does have some screen bleeding over the edge, which is extremely outdated, and it will result in more accidental touches and more glare on the display, but other than that, it's amazing. The OnePlus 12 has more rounded edges with a more welcoming frame, and it was able to fit in my hand very comfortably while I was watching videos on my phone. And just like the Pixel 8 Pro, it also has that Gorilla Glass Victus 2 protection, so I pretty much got the best of both worlds. And speaking of best of both worlds, the OnePlus 12's battery is no slouch. It has a capacity of 5400 milliamp hours, which means that it literally has more milliamp hours than the iPhone 15 Pro Max, the Pixel 8 Pro, and the Galaxy S24 Ultra. On the days I use my OnePlus 12, I will use some very heavy apps that I had no problem if it could handle. I spent a ton of time on social media, a ton of time on Google Meet with my girlfriend, and I kept all my apps open just to max it out as much as I could. And despite my efforts, I was still able to last all day with no problem. With about 6 to 7 hours of screen time, I'm usually ending my day with about 20%, which was really good since gaming wore it down. And even if hypothetically the OnePlus doesn't last all day, in the US, it's supposed supports 80-watt charging, which basically means that your phone will go from 0 to 100 in about 35 minutes, which basically splits the Galaxy S24 Ultra's charging time, which is 0 to 100 in 1 hour and 5 minutes. So if you're someone who procrastinates or you just don't always like putting your phone on the charger at night, the OnePlus 12 will get the job done. Build quality was another category where the OnePlus is more practical than its competition. It does have a cheaper plastic build, but the design on the back makes it feel a little bit more premium. And it's also more durable than a lot of more expensive looking materials. The buttons were very clicky and premium. The OnePlus 12 had really nice curves that reminds me of the Pixel 7 Pro in terms of look and feel from the front. And it also has a nice stainless steel type of finish that I really like but can be prone to fingerprints. Now, one of the most impressive things when it comes to the OnePlus 12 is the intense power that you do get, whether it's gaming, getting work done, or doing a good amount of multitasking. The Snapdragon 8 Gen 3 chip handles games extremely smooth. I even played Call of Duty, and the refresh rate mixed in with the fluidity was very noticeable. I have the 16 gigabytes of RAM version, but you can go up to 24 gigabytes, which is absolutely insane. It might just be me, but I think that's extremely overkill for a phone, especially since there's close to no app or apps that need to be doing all that. Even having the option of having 1 terabyte worth of storage is really cool, since most phones that do have that option usually cost over $1,000. And there were the little things that make the OnePlus a OnePlus. The ability to set any app that you want to a specific refresh rate, as opposed to other phones that don't even give you the option. The fact that this is one of the only few phones that still has an IR blaster, and this feature is basically extinct now, but it basically lets you control any TV or appliance that's in your house, and I really hope more phones bring this feature back. And one of the most important features the OnePlus has is Aqua Touch, which is basically a hardware feature that will have your OnePlus feel completely normal even with water on the screen. In person, it does work really well. It's very responsive, and it does respond like water isn't really on there. Even customization on the OnePlus is still top tier. The fact that you can edit transitions between scrolling in many different ways, the fact that you can change the size and shape of your app icons, the fact that you can change their animation speed, and there's so much stuff that you can do that'll feel like a breath of fresh air compared to the Pixel or Galaxy. Now, taking a look at the most unique looking piece of hardware on the OnePlus 12, the camera system does have some really good specs, but based on my past experiences with OnePlus and Hasselblad, I don't know if I can fully trust it. I believe the last OnePlus phone I had was the OnePlus 10 Pro, and I remember the camera being pretty bad, and even though the past experience was unpleasant, I will admit that the selfies have definitely gotten better. They're not top tier like the iPhone 15 Pro Max, but they are more comparable to phones like the Pixel 8 Pro and the Galaxy S24 Ultra. Everyday photos were even better, the vibrancy was there, the punchiness was definitely on the more realistic side, and I feel like these were the best by far. Night mode was pretty bad in my opinion. The artificial lighting didn't help the bad processing, the colors weren't as accurate, and I feel like Hasselblad still has a lot of work to do in terms of camera software. Videos were pretty okay. They looked amazing whenever I was outside and the lighting was perfect, but there were times where I shot indoors and I didn't really have the same consistency. Besides that though, the pans were extremely smooth. There were many modes to choose from in terms of variety, and there were moments where I could see the potential. And there it is, you guys, my review on the OnePlus 12. It's an amazing phone that I think truly deserves the praise that it never received. I feel like OnePlus is headed in the right direction, not only for the fact that they made one of the best phones of the year, but also the fact that they did it at a very affordable price for people who want a top tier phone but don't want to pay close to $1,300. And on a quick side note, hopefully it's still up, but the OnePlus 12 also has some amazing deals going on right now. You can get the 512 gig version for only $800 and the 256 version for only $700, which again is an absolute steal. And to end this video, I want to give you guys a special thanks for letting me try the OnePlus 12. Peace.